that thread went crazy.
Really?
Yeah, I think like 1,000 people or something found me. I know.
On Threads?
Yeah.
Wow.
On Threads. That's how my account suddenly grew. I literally closed my phone for like 3 days. I was like, there's too many notifications. I was just gonna sit and think about it. I remember a few years ago how lonely it was for me to pursue photography and not having any friends. And at that point, I was hosting like maybe 3 photo walks. Then so many people telling me like, "Chi, this is so good. Like I couldn't find community like this, like so wholesome and kind, and we needed that." And I was like, okay, maybe if I launch it, like officially, maybe more people would find the place to hang out.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to create somewhere that's warm, wholesome, and kind. That's all I want in my energy. I hope they know that when they come to my photo walk, I'm not hosting just to host, but I'm there to actually make friends. So whenever I meet people, I'm so excited.
Today on the Kickin' It Pod, I'm joined by Chihiro Yanagi, also known online as Pics by Chi. She's a talented photographer and community builder whose authentic online presence has allowed her to connect with creatives all over the world. And in this episode, we dive into how she's used platforms like Instagram, Threads, and her photo walks with Senpo to not only showcase her work, but to bring people together in real life. We talk about building trust with your audience, the power of community-led creativity, and how showing up as yourself can open up unexpected doors. So if you're a creative out there who's looking to connect, grow, or just feel inspired, then this one's for you. So let's get into it. I tried to go back as far as I could.
Yes.
And what I found was that
Oh my gosh.
your first camera that you used in 2012 to 2014 was an iPod Touch.
Yes. Yes.
That was your first camera?
That was my first camera, yeah.
Wow. And what got you into wanting to take pictures even though you didn't have a camera?
So I've always loved taking photos, and I have a quite big family. So my grandparents and stuff always had a film camera, but it's something that they never let me use because I was still small.
Yeah. How old were you when you felt like you had an urge to take photos?
The earliest photo I took is like with my sister's tiny disposable camera, and that's when I was, I think, like 7.
Wow.
Yeah, very small.
Yep.
Yeah, I just always loved capturing things, and then I think back when I got the iPod Touch, that was when I was watching a lot of like YouTube people, and they were all vlogging, they were all taking photos, and I was like, I want to do that. And then my parents didn't take me that seriously that time, so they were like, oh, we're not getting you a freaking camera. So I was like, can I get an iPod Touch because I want to listen to music and also take photos, like 2-in-1 situation. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you just started using that as a way to just take photos of everything?
I did some like school art project with those as well. Like
No
I
way.
took photos and
Wow.
Yeah.
I saw the photos that you posted on Instagram from those. I was like, they actually look cool, man. Especially now, like people love that like nostalgic kind of look and that old school feel. And I'm like, these are perfect.
Yeah,
They fit right in.
It's very grainy, which adds like a little vibe to it.
Right now, like people are like adding grain to it to make it look like how they turned out.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
And then after that, like when did you start like wanting to do more and explore it more?
So I started exploring more once my parents like gave in and got me my first mirrorless camera. So I think that's when I was 18, like just when I graduated high school.
Yep.
Yeah, and then they got me this like, do you know Nikon J1?
Okay, no, I don't know of that camera
It's very small mirrorless camera, but that's when I started shooting a lot. Like, and then I didn't know how to shoot, like how to edit RAW or anything. So I was just like shooting, I think, like JPEG and like little settings here and there. And yeah, that's how I got into it.
How did that feel when you first got your camera?
Oh, it was so fun. There's something about it looked so creamy.
Yeah.
You know, when there's like a smaller aperture, and it just looks so smooth and like clear. I love that. Yeah.
I know that feeling too.
Yeah.
You're like, these look so good.
Yeah, that's
good.
how I felt.
And you're so happy with like everything you take of like the most random things too.
And I have a younger brother, and I always made him like be a model. And be like, can you stand there? And then I was just like taking photos.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That was the hardest part for me. It's like having people to shoot.
Yeah.
And I would just try and ask any friend. None of my friends were interested. And I was like, please, just any random. I just need someone to take photos of.
Yeah.
So it's good. I wish my brother was like that.
Yeah.
And
Well,
just let me
he
take
didn't like it, but I was just dragging him around.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
And then like when you pick up a camera, like when someone first gets a camera, the hardest part is learning how to use it properly.
Yeah.
How did you go about learning?
So back then, I literally didn't know anything, and I don't think I looked up any YouTube tutorials or anything either. So
Yeah, wow.
they came with like those handbooks.
I
And
know.
like, how to use your camera, how to take a photo for the first time. And I was like, okay, turn on there.
Yeah.
Like settings here. I don't think I ever messed with any ISO or shutter speed setting. I think I was taking on like aperture priority setting back then.
Yep.
Yeah, and then that's what I was doing. I was just like shoot.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then,
yeah.
like, no much like editing, no much messing around
Yeah.
with settings. Yeah.
Exactly. Sometimes you just need to be shooting. Like
Yeah.
the more you shoot, the better you get. There's so many things that you can get good at that
Yeah.
don't require those things.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
just
yeah,
good
yeah.
composition, good lighting.
Yeah, exactly.
All those things.
I think that's what great thing about how I got into photography, because I didn't know anything about camera. I just knew what I wanted to take and how I wanted to take it. So I think that pushed my creativity more rather than like relying on the gear.
Yes.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is really fun.
I've heard that too. When you don't rely on gear too much, like it forces you to be creative.
Yeah.
And I've heard of lots of like challenges where people will create rules and
Yeah.
put themselves in a box, and like the more you eliminate and the less rules you have like to follow,
Yeah.
it forces you to be more creative. So like I remember watching this YouTube video, and this guy forced himself to only take photos of things that are orange.
Yeah.
And then it forces you to walk around and try and be creative with just a limited amount of rules.
Yeah,
which is very similar. Like, I don't want to worry about shutter or
Yeah.
aperture, and I'm just going to try and be as creative as I can within
Yeah.
these boundaries.
Yeah, because like for my mirrorless camera, when I got them, it actually broke within like 3 years. Something was wrong with the body, and I couldn't fix it. I was also like a very broke student, so I couldn't buy a new camera either.
Yeah.
So after that, I actually got into like analog photography. So I was
Wow.
shooting with like a disposable camera.
Yep.
For like 4 years, and I didn't have any professional like kind of mirrorless camera for
Yep.
5 years. So I was
Wow.
either shooting with my iPhone
Yep.
and editing on my iPhone or my Lightroom.
Wow.
Yeah, or shooting analog. And
Yes.
I've only got the new mirrorless camera last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
I saw it for Christmas.
Yeah.
I saw that.
No, not for Christmas.
No?
Christmas one I actually upgraded.
Oh, you
right after.
upgraded,
Yeah, but
okay.
before then I had my Fuji X-T30.
Yep.
Like I got like a year ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
So until then, I was like really restricted. I didn't want to. I think I was like tight on my budget, but also like didn't want to invest that much on something I wasn't sure if I was gonna commit. So I was always with my point and shoot film camera, and my iPhone.
That's so good.
Yeah, and then but because after that I got into the mirrorless camera, I had more control of what I could do. And
yes.
after that, I was like, oh my gosh, I can do this with the camera. And then I think that's when like everything started kind of
Yes.
like skill wise, I started growing.
Totally.
Yeah.
I agree. There's so much you can learn, like outside of just having a really cool camera.
Yeah.
Like there's so much that there is to learn when it comes to photography that is
Yeah.
outside of just the tools.
Yeah.
And by forcing yourself to just shoot, and there are so many people that wait until I'm going to wait until I have the perfect camera or
Yeah.
the gear or the light.
Yeah, I get that question a lot on my social media. They're like, oh, what gear do you use? I can't afford that gear. What else can I use? And I'm like, honestly, just use your phone.
Yeah,
Like,
and they won't shoot until they have all the gear.
Yeah. But there's so much you can do with phone right now that, like, if you want to practice, just
Yes.
start practicing. Yeah.
Exactly, totally. Especially now we've moved a long way since the iPod Touch.
Yeah.
The phones
I
these
know.
days
I know.
are proper, really, really good.
Yeah.
And there are times I see videos and photos on Instagram, and you're like, "Wow, that looks so cool!" And then in the caption, it'll just say "shot with iPhone."
Yeah.
And I'm just like, "How did that happen?"
I have a mate on my Instagram that does very cinematic, like moody shoots, and I asked her like, "Oh, what do you shoot with?" And she's like, "Oh, just my iPhone." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Wow."
And they're
Yeah.
insane, right?
Yeah,
and a lot of the
so
time, it's
good.
learning how to use lighting, shooting in the right time,
Yeah.
right place, composition.
Yep.
All those things are really, really important. They can make your iPhone footage is already great, but that makes it better.
Yeah.
Wow. And all of that was while you're in Japan.
Yes, while I was in Japan, yeah.
A great place to take photos.
Oh, it
Just
was
saying.
so fun. But I think I really took it for granted because I lived there. So everything I grew up with. So I was
true.
like, like Shinjuku, like like buildings and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, oh, it's just a near lie. And I recently went back and I was like, wow, I really
Wow.
missed out on so many photo opportunities.
True, Japan has so much. I went for the first
Yeah.
time last year.
Oh, yeah.
With my girlfriend, I was blown away.
Did you like it?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
nice.
loved it.
Where did you go?
I went to Osaka, and there was a typhoon, so a lot of our plans got we people over there are so chill about it. Though.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, it's just a typhoon. We're like, typhoon, bro, that's crazy. But apparently it's like normal over there. They're just acting as if you just carry on with your day. They're like, it might come, it might be very destructive.
Yeah, like typhoon and earthquake. We're like, oh yeah, here's another one.
And they were like, probably don't go to Kyoto.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, but that's where we want to go. They're like, yeah, maybe don't do that. so that got taken off the plans, and we just had to work around it.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to go there, just because it's so different to Tokyo.
It's a very, very beautiful city. Yeah, I really like Kyoto as well.
And then the amount of creators that I follow that are based in Japan.
Yeah.
That just make you want to go there all the time. Yeah, they're incredible.
Yeah.
And you lived there until 3 years ago.
Yes.
Damn. Have you been back?
I went back just a month ago. So I was there for a month in May.
Yep.
Yeah, it was really fun. I hadn't been back in 2 years before then.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was like visiting all the families and did little travel around there.
Yeah.
It was fun.
And what made you come to Australia?
So I have a partner.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a husband in Australia, and then he's born here.
He's born here.
Yeah.
So how'd you meet him?
I met him through a mutual friend.
Awesome.
In Japan.
In Japan.
Yeah, and we met in Japan, and then.
And he said, I live in Australia.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
then back then I actually studied in UK as well. So back when we met, I was about to study in the UK.
Yep.
So we did like long distance throughout COVID and
wow.
everything. Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And then he came to Japan actually for 1 year, and he
Yep.
lived there for like 1 year. And we were both talking about like what to do. And then I was like, I don't think I want to stay in Japan. And then also he doesn't speak any Japanese either.
Oh,
and I
wow.
speak English, so it just made sense for me to move back, like move here.
How did you learn English? Just that's cool.
Yeah, so I went to like a bilingual school.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did like most classes in English, but I still had Japanese courses. So
Wow.
that's how
That's so cool.
yeah.
Such a benefit.
Yeah, it was really good because growing up I knew I wanted to study English just because of like family influence and everything.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah,
I saw that. You have a master's in intercultural communication.
Yes. Oh my gosh, how did
That's impressive.
you really went digging in my Instagram?
Yeah. I was so interested. Because like you said, where did this girl pop up?
Yeah.
I need to know more.
Yeah. So I studied cultures and like media and also marketing. Yeah.
Yep. I noticed that. I noticed it in a lot of like just what you post, the things that you're interested in.
Yeah.
Which is cool. A lot of what you post is just things you're interested in.
Yes.
And you can tell like your personality shines through.
Yeah.
Which is really, really good. And I think a lot of people like could learn from that because so many people like you need to niche down. You can only talk about this and this. Whereas you just seem to post whatever you're interested in.
Yeah, I get those like things a lot. Like they're like, oh, you have to be in this niche. If you do photography, you have to do photography. And I'm like, but this is my page. I can just do whatever I want.
Yes.
Like, cause when I started, I kept calling my page my creative outlet. I just needed somewhere I can just post and share what I want to create.
Yes.
And I want to keep it that way. So I just do whatever I want on that page.
Oh, that's what it should be.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes your page so unique and what makes it stand out.
Yeah, thank
There
you.
was there was like you literally walk around and it's just whatever you find interesting, you will post. I saw you post. You were like, ever since I've moved to Sydney, I've noticed that there's just trolleys everywhere.
Yes.
And every time I see a shopping trolley, I take a photo of it. Here's a collection of all the shopping trolleys that I have come across in Sydney. And I was like, who posts this stuff?
Oh my god, because that's I think the beautiful thing about living in different country. You come from like completely different country and you start living there and you start noticing things that maybe the locals doesn't realize.
Yes, exactly.
And then when I started posting that, everybody was like so into it. They were like, oh my gosh, this is so true. And actually all the online friends started sending me their version of like trolley photos. Oh,
yes.
I love it. Like that's how I kind of make all the personal connection with all the people that I meet online.
Exactly.
It's so fun. Like some people in Germany found the trolley in the park.
That's
and like
so
it's such
good.
a nice spot. Light is coming down and it was so cinematic. And they
So
were like,
cinematic.
look,
Look at this
cinematic of the
trolley.
trolley. It was so good.
Wow, that's the best. And it's true. It comes from you just sharing your random thoughts, whatever you find interesting.
Yeah.
And none of that would happen if you're just forced to niche down and only be specific about these certain things. Do you think that trait came from what you studied, like just multicultural?
I think so, yeah.
When you're in another country, you notice things that are new.
That are like
and
new
interesting.
and different. And I think that's great thing about traveling as well. And then also I think I'm just interested in culture in general, just because I grew up in such a multicultural situation. Yeah, that's why I think I incorporate that in my photos as well. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes back to like when you were saying when you lived in Japan, you took it for granted because you see it all the time.
Yeah.
And then when you go to another country, there are things that people that live there also take for granted, and you notice it.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, even the bird, you're like, there are so many birds in this country. What the hell? And there's names for all of them.
Yeah. I was surprised when I first moved here, and every single person in Australia knows what that bird exactly named after.
Yeah, there's so many.
Because in Japan, if I see colorful birds, it's like a parrot. And they're like, oh, it's not a parrot tree, that's cockatoo. And I was like, okay. And then
Get it right, Chi.
Yeah, no, and it was so funny. And then I started making all the Pokemon cards for those birds, and it was so fun.
Oh yeah, I saw that. You're like, I've got to collect them all.
Yeah.
Yes. But this is good. You've created your own little world. Like you don't care what other people think to that. Like you're like, if I'm interested, I'm just going to share this.
Yeah.
I'm going to create my own games and my own world.
Yeah.
And everyone's bought into it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think I tell you what I also think. I think it also just gives other people permission to do the same. Because when everyone's like saying you have to do this, you have to, and that's what you hear from everyone, you feel like, oh, I have to do the same because that's what everyone's doing.
Yeah.
Whereas when you come across someone who's not doing that, it makes it feel like I now have permission to do the same thing.
Yeah, I think that's what I want to do on my page as well. Like when people discover me, I want them to see how free it is to create, and it shouldn't be something that makes you feel like you get stuck when you're creating, but like it's not something you should feel stuck because you're restricted. Like you should be able to like do whatever you like because it's your world that you can do whatever you want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people do. They feel restricted. That's a good word.
Yeah.
Whereas when you just show your personality, it's very freeing.
Yeah.
And some people do. They have like weird interests and they're scared to share it because they're scared that someone's going to think I'm weird if I post all these trolleys, but I think it's cool. You know, and when someone else does it, you're like, oh, wow, I can probably do the same.
Yeah.
And it makes it feel okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I agree. And you also just have an interest in shooting in different ways. I saw that you film a lot in film, like you shoot in film.
Oh, yes, I love shooting film. Yep.
What do you love about that process?
I think it's something about not being able to see the shot until you finish it. And also with me, when I take film photography, it's a very personal process rather than shooting digital. Because digital, I feel like you can just burst photos and pick the one you like. Whereas film, I take time. And
you have
I
to be more intentional.
Yeah. And I make sure I'm taking photos for myself and not for other people when I do film. So that's something special about it. So I carry around my film camera with me. I have one today as well. And when I felt something, when I see something or when I'm in the moment and I feel something joyful or like some feeling that I really enjoy, I just take a photo of it.
Yes.
And then when I develop them, look back into it, it can be just like small, like photo of just like a pretty flowers, but I remember when and why I took that photo, so it means a lot to me. Yeah, and that's why I love taking the film photography. Yeah,
that's really good. I haven't thought of that before, but you're right.
Yeah.
It's like this has made me feel something,
Yeah.
so I'm going to take a picture.
yeah,
And then when I go back, and every time I look back at this picture, I can remember this feeling that I had.
yeah. And then like when I recently posted some film photos from my Japan trip, when people probably scroll that, they probably don't just see like a pretty streets or something. But for me, those streets are where I walked with my great-grandparents. All the photos of the flower I posted is right behind my grandma's grave.
Wow.
And then there's like so much meaning behind it.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's why I love just taking like that one shot that means so much to me, but not for other people. And I think that's something beautiful about that.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
That's so special. And so true. Like it means something to you.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters at the end of the day. Especially with photography and creative. It's so subjective.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like with social media, everybody's like if you try to post and like start doing social media for photography, you feel like you're chasing for numbers, chasing for that view.
Yep.
And it takes away that like core joy of photography and what it should be. So film photography, I keep that for myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. It's so easy to lose yourself in the numbers and the followers and the engagement. And then you start, like you start creating for that rather than for yourself.
Yeah.
And you're thinking more like, what would they want? And if that's different to what you want, it starts taking the joy away from what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's really good. And even experimenting with, like you experimented with film and you like doing that, but you, in one of your captions, you also said that you're trying to play around with different shutter speeds and other settings, mainly because you want to shoot things that are interesting and not just pretty.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. That's something I still struggle because like when you see something pretty, your like instinct is like, oh, take photo of that.
Yes.
But I've been trying to kind of fight that thoughts off and be like, okay, that's pretty, but what would make that interesting?
Yeah, totally.
That's something like when I shoot intentionally, that's what I usually think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that's been helping me a lot to shoot something cool, especially on the street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I'm just walking around, like shooting something that people don't notice.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of people tend to just go for the obvious.
Yeah.
You
like
know?
if you see the Fuji mountain, you want to take the shot of the Fuji. But I was like, oh, I can't make it like interesting.
I agree.
Yeah.
And it's true. And it's challenging because you have to challenge yourself creatively.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes a bit of work and you're scared because it may not come out the way you thought. But that's how you grow as a creative.
Yeah,
it's like everyone's taken this shot, but how can I make it unique? How can I make it interesting? How can I just do something other than just the obvious?
Yeah. I haven't posted on the Instagram yet, but while I was in Japan, I did this challenge where I just take a photo of like bins in Japan.
Here we go. Tell me more. Tell me more.
Like there's like in Japan, there's like a big like there's not many bins.
There's not many bins.
Yeah,
yes, you're right.
Yeah, but there's a bin days where you can like people take out bins and then there's like on the side of the road or like in front of the house, there's just like a pile of like bins. And I was just like, gotta try and make that aesthetic.
So you have a collection. You have a little archive.
Archive of the bins. I need to edit them. But yeah, I also took like a bunch of photos of like clotheslines in Japan because when I was walking around neighborhood in Japan, I was like, oh, I forgot like Japanese clotheslines are all straight because Australia you have this like round thing.
Yeah, and it kind of spins around. Yeah.
So it was different. So I was taking like photo of the clotheslines and be like, oh, how to make it like look like very nostalgic.
Yeah.
Like very like, I don't know, out of like kind of Ghibli movie vibes. Yeah.
I agree. You're a very observant person.
I'm very curious, I guess.
Curious. You observe a lot, and I think that takes. To be able to be that type of person, you really have to slow down and be present.
Yeah.
I feel like I struggle with that. And I think a lot of people do, especially, I don't know, I've lived my whole life in Sydney. I don't know if it's different in other areas, but around here especially, a lot of people are just like, go, 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 busy. The busier you are, the more, the hype you have. Like people just want to be busy all the time and they never really slow down and take a look around, breathe and notice like the simple things. Like there's so much beauty in like the little things. Yeah. And sometimes when you're too busy, you take those things for granted. You don't see all the cool things that are around you. And even creatives, photography-wise, they're like, oh, if I'm going to shoot and take my camera out, it has to be the coolest idea, and I've got to get the studio and the lights, and they won't do it otherwise. And it's like, dude, there's so like much cool stuff around that you can shoot that doesn't need all the things.
Yeah. I think like slowing down is really important, especially like I used to work in Tokyo, so it was really busy. Like work culture is completely different. I didn't have time for myself, and I moved here, and I actually felt a little bit slower here.
Okay, wow.
So that's when I was like, oh, maybe I need to slow down a little bit.
Yes.
And then once I started shooting a lot, I realized, oh my gosh, I'm shooting so much that I actually don't know why I'm shooting. So now I intentionally make days where I don't touch camera. When I go outside, I don't shoot. And if I see a beautiful moment or pretty moment, I just let it pass. And I was like, oh, that was a beautiful moment. Oh, that's great. I noticed that. And then I just walk away.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think that's a good practice when you want to, I don't know, slow down when the world is so fast and busy.
Yeah. And you have to be intentional about those things.
Yeah.
Like you really do have to make the time to kind of just stop. I never used to be like that. I'm learning to be more and just be more present around people. Because there'd be times I'd be with the girlfriend or with friends and like I'm there, but like in my mind, I'm not there. I'm not there at all. I'm thinking about work and all these other things.
Yeah, I get that.
And for me, it was really challenging. Like I had to like reflect and be like, yeah, you know what? I need to be present. I need to, even just talking to people. And I think that's something that I've gotten better at with this podcast. Like you just have to stop and be in the conversation. You have to listen. I never used to be that person.
It's really hard, especially when you're being creative or you're making content, especially you're like,
thinking of ideas always.
Or you're always like, oh, maybe I should film this moment because like it would be probably going to be a good content or something. But like sometimes you need to be in that moment, and also like I always want to be mindful of the other person, and I don't want them to feel like I'm neglecting them for my content.
Yes.
Like especially my partner, because this trip I was with, like he was with me entire time, and I was like, oh, is it okay if I stop for to film the video?
Yeah.
Yeah, and at some point I was like, okay, I need to make a day where I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, true. That's true. I've never thought about that. Yeah. Well, like the other person could be like, they're not even here for me. They're here just to film.
Yeah.
That's true. So then I want to also talk. So when you were in the UK, you studied in the UK?
Yes.
Was that after high school?
That was after uni, actually.
After uni?
Yeah, I did a uni in Japan, and then went to do masters in UK.
And then you went and did your masters in the UK.
Yeah.
And then I feel like you really got into photography there because you've got a pretty solid community of creative friends in the UK.
See, I've not really, because I did photography in the UK because that's how I got really into film photography as well. Because one of my flatmates, she was really into photography and she had like 3-point-and-shoot cameras, so I would shoot with her, and that's how I got really into it. But I didn't necessarily make a lot of creative friends there.
Okay.
But I think it's because when I started posting consistently on Instagram, I was posting my UK trip photos a lot.
Yep.
I think that's how all the UK creators kind of came into my profile. And then I chatted a few of them and they were like, oh my gosh, you lived in UK? And I was like, yeah, it was in this city. And then that's how I kind of glued the European
and you found some creative friends there.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And then is that kind of what sparked your love for kind of building a community within creatives, around creatives? Like, where did this come from?
So, well, it initially came from when I think last year when I was in Australia. It's been like
3 years.
Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah.
And then last year I was like, I need more creative friends, and I only had one creative friend at the time, and I was really lonely because I wanted to do more creative things. I had a feeling I wanted to pursue something more creative, but everyone else around me, especially my friends in Japan, were all in corporate, like 9 to 5, get that like promotion kind of mentality.
Yep.
So I felt really left out. And I went to UK for a trip, and I hung out with my photography friend that I had, and then we were talking about it, and I came back. And I was like, okay, maybe I should give a shot to photography again, because I wasn't posting at all back then. And then I had all these beautiful UK photos. And I started posting consistently, and I started meeting those people from UK and in other places. And I was like, oh, maybe I might be able to meet people online, and that's maybe the way for me to find friends. Yeah, and that's how the community thing started.
Yeah, wow.
Because I posted, like back then I think Instagram was really pushing threads.
Okay, yes.
And I was like, oh, what's this?
I remember when threads came out.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yep.
And then I went on a thread and I was like, oh, it's like a Twitter. So I like posted something saying like, hey, anybody out for a photo walk and a coffee? Because I was thinking there was going to be like maybe 2 girls who
So you
hang out.
posted this to nobody? Like
Nobody.
Just as a
Yeah, nobody. No one knew me.
So it wasn't to anyone directly?
No.
You just made a thread?
Yeah.
And just said, hey, I want to go on a photo.
I was like, well, there's so many online like photographer lovers out there.
True.
Maybe I'll find someone. And
Wow.
that thread went crazy.
Really?
Yeah. I think like 1,000 people or something found me. I know.
On threads?
Yeah.
Wow.
On threads. That's how my account suddenly grew.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And everybody was like, oh my gosh, when does this photo walk? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my gosh, I think now I have to organize one.
Now you have to do it.
Yeah, that's how
Everyone's waiting on it. I did not know that. I don't even know people that use threads. Are you still threading?
Not as much.
Yeah.
But I think last year it was like something new that like
True.
I think it was around, but like it was new to me. So I was
remember
like
it.
started using it. Yeah, that's how it started.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you posted it. You're like, I want to go on a photo walk. 1,000 people engaged in this.
I literally closed my phone for like 3 days. I was like, there's too many notifications.
This is
I was
too
just
much.
gonna sit and think about it.
You just wanted one friend.
Yeah, and then my DMs are all like, hey, when are you doing this photo walk?
Wow.
And then at that point, I was like, okay, I think I have to do it now. Like there's clearly people who wants to connect. It's just like
Correct.
nobody's like I didn't know there are other people who are doing it. So at the time, I was like, oh, is it no one doing it? And I was like, okay, I'll try it, see how it goes. And I had one friend, he's not even on social media. He doesn't any social media. He only shoots analog. And I knew that friend, and he likes going out on a photo walk by himself as well. So I asked him like, hey, there's 1,000 people on my DMs. Do you wanna?
Is this Patrick?
Yes, Patrick.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So Patrick was there. So and then I asked him, and he was like, yeah, I'm down. So we organized the first one back in last year, October, and that's how everything started.
Very cool.
Yeah.
How did you plan this? Only because I like I said before we started this pod, I did my first meetup, and it was a lot of work. I wasn't ready for it. I didn't really. It was very similar. I just picked a date, and I found it to be so stressful and so hard to organize. How was your first experience organizing?
First one was like very unorganized compared to current ones.
Yep.
So me and Patrick was like, I guess we just need to pick a place that like big enough so it doesn't feel crowded. So we went to Centennial Park.
Yep.
Yeah,
cool.
and I picked around like 10 people and like a few models from like a DMs that I was like already chatting with. So it was like Sky. That's how I met Sky.
Oh, that's how you met Sky. Wow.
And then like a few other creators and stuff and the photographers, and that's how we did the first one. And I didn't know Centennial Park was like, there's not many subjects.
Okay.
Yeah. So when we went, we were like, okay, I guess we're taking photos of trees.
I was going to say, there's lots of trees there.
Yeah, there's a lot of trees. So that's like first learning curve. I was like, okay, I think I need to plan it better. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool place though.
It's really
nice.
cool. Yeah. I think I just needed more models because we only had 2 models.
Actual things to shoot.
Yeah. Yeah, that
was my thought process with mine. I was like, I just need things that for them to shoot. And if there's things for them to shoot, that was like my only concern. So I was trying to create things that people would just want to take photos of.
Yeah.
That was my process. But I get it. But there's so much more to it. Like even the planning and the, what are they going to do?
Planning is a lot. So the first one was like kind of like that because it was first time. I just wanted to kind of like a meet up with the people I've kind of been talking online. And the second one, I was like, okay, I probably should do a public one. And that's when like Patrick and I started stressing out because we were like, we need a location where we can walk enough, like walk in the scenery area that people can also do streets or scenery photos, but also being able to place models around. And also we started planning like, okay, we want them, like our goal was for everybody to meet and talk and mingle. So we were like, okay, we need probably like during the walk, maybe 3 spots where we can stop and talk.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of planning.
Yeah, that's good. People don't realize, right?
Yeah.
But if you plan that, that's how they go well.
Yeah.
Especially when you give people an opportunity to talk to each other.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, like we were saying as well, like some people are afraid to put themselves out there, and especially when they turn up, they're in a bit of a shell, and you need things that will like push them to open up a bit more.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is. If we just plan to stop here, they have to talk to each other.
Yeah. So like on the day, we always have to kind of like make sure everybody's talking. If there's somebody left out, try to make them come into the conversation or don't feel left out. There's one photo walk, I got sick right on the day of the photo walk and I couldn't make it. But there's 3 friends that's been helping my photo walk and they ran that for me. And after the photo walk, they told me like, Chi, you do so much. Like we realized you do so much. And I was like, oh, thank you.
But it's true, to be a host is really hard.
Yeah.
And it is that. I shot, I remember I had to go and shoot. I got offered to go and shoot at a retreat. And it was like a wellness retreat for 3 days. And there was a lady who was hosting the whole retreat. And by hanging out there for 3 days, I was just the content person. But I was watching her and I'm like, that is so much work. She like organizing everything and just making sure that everyone is included in conversations. And I saw her, I'd watch that if someone wasn't talking or felt out of place, she would start a conversation with that person and then try to connect them with someone else. And I was like, without this host doing that, some of these people don't have a great time.
Yeah.
And they go there, they feel lonely, they leave, and they might never come back because they didn't feel connected with anyone. And as a host, not that that's your responsibility, but you feel like, you should be connecting people. You don't want people. I felt like people have taken time out of their day. They've come all the way here. I really want it to be a good experience for them. I don't want them to come here and feel like it wasn't worth their time. So I felt that pressure a lot.
Yeah.
Do you feel that?
I completely agree with you. Yeah. I do. Especially when people like take their time of their day to come out and then hang out, and I'm always really scared of disappointing them, and then like, cause I think our community has such a great energy, so they look really fun, and it is fun, but I always have like imposter syndrome, like what if it's not fun for them?
Yeah.
So I always
exactly.
like go extra mile to kind of like,
Of course.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to, like, they could be anywhere. They literally could be anywhere at that time, but they chose to come and hang out with you guys.
Yeah.
And I think that's special.
Yeah.
And then at what point did you start turning it into an actual thing? Like, you gave it a name, like there's branding behind this.
Like, cause I was like talking to one of my other creative mate, and then he was like, oh, you should probably make a proper community or something. So if some other brands might help you,
Of course.
it's better to have like names and like
Yeah, it looks
community stuff.
properly
And
organised.
initially I was thinking about it. I was like, why? Like, I don't know if this is going to continue, if people will still be interested. So I was really skeptical, but that friend of mine and also like my partner was also like, why don't you just do it? Like, what's the worst thing that could happen if you don't do it? And I was like, I guess. And
True.
then,
True. So then you went ahead and started putting it all, because again, it's just more work. Sometimes it's just like, is this worth all the effort that I'm putting into doing this?
Yeah, I think I was like skeptical, but then also again, I remember a few years ago how lonely it was for me to pursue photography and not having any friends. And at that point, I was hosting like maybe 3 photo walks. Then so many people telling me like, Chi, this is so good. Like, I couldn't find community like this, like so wholesome and kind, and we needed that. And I was like, okay, maybe if I launch it, like officially, maybe more people would find the place to hang out.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was all the intention behind it, and then I just did it.
It's true though, and I think even a lot of what you post, like without probably realizing it or not, like everything that you've posted and you go to your page, it does feel very welcoming. Like your personality, like putting your personality out there, and all those things that we spoke about make it feel welcoming. That if you were to host a photo walk, I feel welcomed.
Yes.
To turn up.
Yeah, that's all I want in my page and in my community. I think, because sometimes there are creative people that are very like closed off and they stay in their own circle, which is, I think, completely fine if you enjoy that. But for me, I needed somewhere that's more open and it felt safe to come in, especially as a female creator as well. So I just wanted to create somewhere that's warm, wholesome, and kind. That's all I want in my energy.
That's what you feel on your page. That's all the vibes from your page, which is good. Like, yeah, you're right. I spoke about this with Sky, but it is that in terms of like, it's so strange, but like you are in everything that you post, even though you're just posting whatever you want, right? It is building a brand, like a personal brand, and a feeling, all those things. Yeah. And I think for followers of that, like for people that love the things that you post and the vibe and everything, this walk that you do is almost like a real life experience of your page.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Right, but I think so, right? Would you agree?
I agree. Yeah. I think I'm naturally very like warm. Like I'm a very loving person. Like I love people.
Yeah.
So yeah, like when they come to photo walk, that's like meeting another friend. I hope they know that when they come to my photo walk, I'm not hosting just to host, but I'm there to actually make friends. So whenever I meet people, I'm so excited.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that comes from like the whole reason why you started it in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because you wanted friends.
Yeah. I still want more friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then how do you think it's changed over time? Like, how have you changed it? Your most recent photo walk to your first one?
I think now we have a momentum, so we know how we are planning, what we need to plan, like especially like route. We always plan the route first and then make sure everybody knows where the route is. I think the hardest thing is getting the models. So it's easier for me to find photographer than models at the moment. So first thing first, I'm just always finding models, like make sure they're locked in for the date and stuff. There's a lot more like steps that clearly like written down, and then we do in the steps so we don't get confused. Yeah. You
realize what's important, like we need this, and this.
Yeah.
And that list becomes a lot clearer and takes away the stress.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have like a list of models that you kind of reach out to? Or
I do. I do have quite a long list of models, but like sometimes they're not available, or like I also like having new models on each walk. Doesn't have to be, but I feel like that gives more like new models or like someone trying to get into models have opportunity to come to the photo walk and model. Yeah. So I try to be mindful of that.
Yeah. Has the weather ever stopped it? I always think of the weather. I'm just like, if it rains, what do I do?
Oh, that's been the hardest thing because we would plan photo walks usually like a month ahead, and then by the time the day comes and it's raining, we usually had to cancel it. But recently we've been trying to make the photo walk group like under 15 people. Biggest we've done is like 30, but that was like quite a lot to handle and also harder for people to mingle. So we narrowed that to 15. So what we now do on rainy day is we can't do a photo walk, but we usually tell them, do you guys want to hang out in the city? And we go to like a food court or something and we can still hang out.
I agree. And I think what I found, one of the biggest lessons I learned from like my first meetup is like, we talk about having things like cool things for people to shoot. Like you want to have models and things for people to shoot, and you think like that's the reason why people come, and like that's cool and that is part of the reason, but the main reason is what you said, like hanging out with other people. So sometimes when those things don't work out, like this is for anyone that's trying to have any sort of meetup, it's not always about that. You know, it's cool to have the setups and like the cool models, but if they're not there, like it's not the end of the world because people come to hang out with other people. Like that connection is the main reason I think why people want to come to these and join these communities.
Exactly.
We stress ourselves out because we want it to be perfect and we want them to have amazing shots to walk away with. But I think really like from talking to the guys that went to mine, it's like they just want to hang out with other people. Yeah,
it was the same as my like community as well. Everybody just wanted to hang out, wanted to know somebody who does like similar creative stuff. Yeah.
And it's amazing how many people, myself included, felt the way that you felt. You just feel lonely.
Yeah, you just feel lonely. Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I think creative process itself is lonely because you're thinking so much about it by yourself, and if you don't know anyone that does creative stuff, you don't have anyone to bounce the idea off of. Like, for example, my partner, I love him to death. However, he's no creative person. However, he's not creative at all. So if I get a shot and I'll be like, do you think this is good? He's like, yeah.
Yes.
I guess. It's just a picture is what he says. So I need somebody that can like relate to it.
Yes, I agree. That was my problem at the start. I had like some close friends where I'd make a video or take a photo and I could have shown them anything, like literally anything. They'd be like, that's amazing, that's so cool. And I'm like, this isn't helping me. I'm trying to get better. I need real feedback. And I'd tell them like, if it sucks, tell me. Like, I want to know. And they're like, oh, it's so good. But people that aren't in this space will just think everything's great. And like, they just want to be a good friend. So it's hard to get that type of feedback. Whereas like when you're around other people that get it and are just excited, not that they're going to say your work sucks, but it's good to have like feedback in terms of like, how do they do things? How do they shoot? Maybe I can try what they tried, and everyone gets better together.
Yeah, I feel like everybody gets inspired by each other together, and also that sparks more creativity, more ideas.
Yes.
I feel like for us creatives to get more ideas, you need a little bit of like more influence from like people around us.
Yes.
Or like things that other people create, and that's probably why we would feel lonely, like when you don't have anyone to like bounce that idea or get the inspiration from.
Yeah. And you've just got all these ideas in your head that you can't share with people to kind of get feedback. And sometimes you do think that. I felt like that. I'd have an idea and I'm like, is this idea good or is it just me?
Yeah.
And you just want to have that confirmation, like someone saying, no, that is a good idea, you should try that. Or it's like, no, I have tried that already. This is a better way to do it because I made all these mistakes. Like, trust me. And that makes you feel like that's great. That's good feedback. It's interesting. And the more and more you hang out with people, the more and more you realize those things.
Yeah.
Where do you get your inspiration from?
I get my inspiration from pretty much like engaging with people on the Instagram, but like people that I've already talked to.
Yep.
Yeah. And then like I see what the project they did and I was like, oh my gosh, that lighting is so cool. Or like some series they do and I'm like, that's a great way to like think from like different perspective. Yeah. Otherwise, like I talk to like my creative friends like Sky, Lynn, all the like photo walk friends that I met. And then also like when you go to my Facebook group on Sempo, there's like a group chat of people just yapping about like gears and like their shots, what shot they took. And that's like such a big inspiration for me as well. Because they just like send like random photos they took of during their own walk or something.
So it's a Facebook community as well.
Yeah, it's a Facebook community, yeah.
This is good too.
Yeah.
So like we should talk about, like it's not just a physical show up to this photo walk, you're going to meet people. You can actually meet people online. Like if you don't go to a photo walk, you can go to this group and find friends.
Yeah. So, because like, so for me, I've always had a lot of like international friends just because I studied like in UK and stuff. So like not everyone can come to the photo walk, and I've always had like I always got influence, like inspiration from not just in person but also like outside, like in online like space as well. So that's why I wanted to make the community like accessible, even if you're not in Sydney or if you like are not really into like meeting people in person. So yeah, that's why I made the Facebook group, so that like in the Facebook group when you make it, you can make like your own chats on the side. So I have like a Sydney chats, Melbourne chats, like a gear chats, like photography, like inspiration chats and stuff.
I saw on your page you had people doing their own photo walks.
Oh my gosh! It was so you made me so happy because these people like found me and they saw me doing photo walks. There's one I think in the Philippines.
Wow!
They did one photo walk themselves and they tagged me. They're like
through your page.
Yeah, they got interested in my. They saw my photo, they were like, we want to do it, and then they tagged me later.
That is so cool.
I was so happy. There's one in Perth that's happened, and then he also messaged me. He was like, gee, I hosted this photo walk.
That's
and
amazing.
I have a photography friend in Perth, and he actually went to that photo walk that day.
Wow.
And I was like, wait, my mate was there. Oh, it was so fun. And then there's one happening in Melbourne as well. So I went to Melbourne started this year, and I met a few people there as well. And I did tiny photo walk. It was just like 5 people.
That's cool.
Because it was by myself. And now they're doing their own sample like Melbourne photo walk.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're organizing one themselves. I've gave them little like advice and everything. And yeah, they're organizing one.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
That's
like
amazing.
even if I'm not there, they can organize things.
Yes.
And that can happen because it's online space and people can meet there. Yeah, so I think that's a fun part about it.
That's epic.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what we were talking about before with your content. Like when you do something, when you share something that you're interested in, it gives other people permission to do the same. Yeah. It's like, oh, look at what she's doing. Like, why can't I do that with my work? Why can't I do that where I am? Which is cool. It's cool how it all kind of ties together and works that way. Yeah. And like there's common traits. Like there's traits in your work. There's traits in what you're doing with the photo walk. That's interesting. And then in terms of the people that inspire, are there people that you've met who you look up to? Who are some people that top of your mind that you've met?
Look up to?
Yeah.
Definitely Sky. Sky's the one always pushing me and like always hyping me. Also Lynn. I think her handle is Kara Lynn. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, she does really cool videography as well. Also like Jimmy. I think his I'm so bad at remembering handles. Like Jimmy Kai, I think that's handle. He was the reason why I started doing more photo walks, because I was so like not sure about continuing it, and I was like, oh, it's a lot of work. I'm not sure if everyone keep being interested in stuff. He was like, why don't you just do it? He's so blunt. I love him. Like he's always like, oh gee, why don't you just do it? Like if you like, or like he would be like, oh, why don't you like reach out to like Fujifilm Rep? And I'm like, I don't know. Like I don't think they'll take me seriously. He was like, just do it. Like why don't you just do it? And I was like, okay. And that's how everything.
You need people like that in your life.
Yeah, I'm very like, I don't know. I'm extrovert, but I'm also shy in the sense where I don't know how to reach out to people that could maybe help me or like collaborate with me. So I needed people to push me to be like, just do it. And
I totally agree. Yeah. Who's this? Jimmy?
Jimmy, yeah.
Jimmy's a good friend.
Yeah, Jimmy's a great friend.
We need friends like that.
Yeah.
Because it is. Sometimes it's scary, and even with mine, I was like, who's going to want to come here?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, who's want to, and you need people that just do it. And then once you do it, you realize, I needed that little push. Yeah. What about, so this is good. I want to stay on this. So Jimmy's like, you should reach out to people to collaborate and brands. What would be your dream collaborator?
Dream
If you
collaborator.
put it out there, you never know, Chi.
I would love to cooperate with Fujifilm just
Yes.
because I shoot with Fujifilm a lot. I've actually been in contact with them.
Awesome.
But also, I know like companies are really busy.
Yeah. How did that start? Did you reach out?
Yeah, I did.
Awesome.
I reached out and
Good.
I was like, "Hi, I shoot on Fuji and I organize photos."
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Or, like,
Was it like a DM, an email?
I just DM'd them.
Awesome. Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, no. I need to get better at like sliding into DMs. That's what Sky says. Sky's always like, I just slide into people's DMs. And I was like, okay, I need to do more of that. But yeah, I would love to work with like, I don't know, camera companies. Yeah, camera companies. Even cafes or like restaurants, because I'm struggling at the moment trying to find a event space or like a restaurants or bars to bring people together, because currently I told you I do small photo walks, but I one day really want to do like maybe like 60 or 70 people all together just coming into one event so they can mingle. And I think that'll be really fun as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
especially like your community is so big, and when you're doing photo walks of 15 people, I'm assuming lots of people are missing out.
Yeah, there's a very long wait list, and I keep getting asked like, when's the next one?
How do you manage that? Like, how do you pick your 15? And
I just this is a really bad system.
We need to talk it out.
Until up until like March 1, I was like writing down everybody who was like reaching out to me, and then like had the list.
Pen and paper.
Yeah.
Cool.
This is the next 15 that goes in. This is the next 15 goes into.
Oh, okay.
That's
So
how
there's
I
like a list for this one, and next month you've already got
and
your
also
15.
like I get asked from different levels of people. So some people are like completely beginner, some people are professional.
Do you try and mix them up? Or?
I try to mix it up. And then if I'm doing like different groups, I make sure if there's a 3 groups, like one professional in each groups, and then one beginners into group. So there's a lot of planning. So I just have a list. That's up to like March wait list. Yesterday, actually, I was calling one of my friends in Melbourne, and he built a Google form and spreadsheets for me that I can like pass out for next wait list. So that one will be more automatic.
Okay. It's starting to be a bit more organized. Yeah.
So yeah.
But it works, right? Whatever works.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I guess there's still the online community as well. Like if you can't make it to a walk, there's still, it's not like you're just being...
Yeah, so like I think 2 months ago, when I made the photo walk chats on the Facebook and stuff, I told everybody you're welcome to organize your own photo walk in that chat. Because I think the main thing people were struggling is they're finding people who wants to do it with them, or like they don't know who to ask to. So I just kind of give them the platform to do it. And then I think they've already done one Sydney walk actually while I was in Japan. They were organizing one, like I think like 5 or 6 people like met up through the chats and then did like a little photo walk together.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Which is good, because you've created this platform, like you've brought all these people into this group, and to allow people to just like find friends within there is cool.
And then I don't want to like gatekeep my community or anything as well, because it's just end of the day a place for people to meet, and from then they can do whatever they want. Like if they want to leave the group, like leave the group, like it's fine. Like I don't have any hard things or anything. So so the photo walk chats, like a lot of people post like, oh, the other group of photo walk like communities hosting this photo walk, is anybody going, and they would go to that one. And I think that's really sweet, because when you go to a huge event like that, you get nervous, like you don't know anyone, but at least you know someone from the chat and know who to meet up with. I think that's
true too.
Yeah,
that's a good point. I didn't have that, and I heard that like there were so many people that came to mind that came up to me personally and said, I came here by myself, and usually I wouldn't do this. And when I woke up this morning, I wasn't going to come because I was so scared. There were at least 3 people that did that. And then they came and they're like, thank you so much for I'm thankful that I had the courage to come by myself. But they shouldn't have to be that. And I'm like, what? Like, this is just us. Like, there's nothing to be scared about. But I think it would help a lot of people to be able to connect beforehand and come with someone.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a thought. I'm exactly the same. I don't go to many places on my own.
So I don't love going by myself.
And I think most times I just wouldn't go.
Yeah.
So when they would tell me, I'm like, I know that feeling. And I'm like, thank you for coming, because I wouldn't have come. I wouldn't have done it. And I think being aware that a lot of people, especially in this community, feel that way, that's a good way to overcome it. It's like, hey guys, like, connect before and come together.
Exactly.
And then you don't feel so alone showing up.
Yeah, so they can just chat on the chat, be like, hey, is anybody going to this event? If there's at least one person that's going, you can just go with that person. And you don't feel so alone.
And it'll make them feel so way more comfortable coming.
Yeah.
I agree. I wanted to do that. It was one of my ideas, and it was just, there was so much going on. But it is, I wanted to kind of like send something, an email or a post and be like, hey, this is everyone that's going. You guys should plan to connect with each other before. Like, you don't have to wait for the event to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much you could do. I'm thinking back to it's so good because I'm talking to, you're way more of an expert at these than me. And I've done one and I'm like, I could have done this so much better. And I'm learning from you a lot.
I'm glad.
Which is good. And now, like, what do you think would be like the plans for this? What's a goal? What do you think it's going to turn into? Is there like any, or is it just like we're going to see how it goes?
See, if I have a crazy goal.
Okay.
This is crazy.
This is good. We want crazy goals.
I really want to host photo walks around Australia, but also in Europe.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually did one in Tokyo. That went really well.
You did one in Tokyo?
Yeah, I did one in Tokyo.
That's
when
cool.
I went to Tokyo, I just like asked around people I've already knew.
Yeah.
I've met online but haven't met in person, and I just asked them around if they wanted to do a photo walk, and they just met up. I think there was like 15 of us.
Wow.
Yeah.
One in Tokyo would be so cool.
It was so fun.
I would go to that.
It was packed, but it was really fun.
It was packed?
Yeah, it was really a lot of people, but it was really fun. And so I want to do that more interstate.
Yep.
What I want to do is what happened in Melbourne. So I went to Melbourne and then like met with a few people. They didn't know each other, but now they are friends. And now they are organizing their own stuff. I want to do that with like every state. So even if I'm not there, they can just kind of hang out. Yeah.
That's a good goal.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's very good.
Yeah.
I love it. And it is opening. I think you're aware, maybe because you've come from overseas, but it's like thinking outside of just locally.
Yeah.
I think I got caught up in that. A lot of people do. Like whenever they have ideas, they're like, who are my like direct contacts? And it's like with the online space right now, you can reach out to anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can make things happen anywhere.
Yeah.
That's a new learning for me too. I'm going to Melbourne, not this weekend, next weekend.
Oh, exciting.
It was very scary. I'm doing it for the podcast.
Oh, nice.
And I thought, I don't know why the thought came to me. Who was I talking to? Was it? Actually, it was. There was a conversation I had with Sky.
Yeah.
And because I always go back to like old podcasts and I'm like, what are the lessons here? Like I should be learning from these too. And he's one of the creatives. There's another guy I follow that I'll use Sky's example. I was like, where are all your clients from? None of them were here. They were all overseas. All these clients are in the UK and America. And I think somewhere else he said.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've never thought of that. I'm always thinking like my clients that I have now that I do work for, they're all around here because I feel like I need to see them in person. And he opened my mind to like, well, they don't need to be. Like we live online now. You can reach out to anyone.
Yeah.
And you can connect and work with anybody.
Yeah.
And I thought about that and I was like, all right, overseas seems a bit scary. I'm like, let me start with Melbourne. And I was like, if I go to Melbourne for a few days, I wonder if I can just ask people to come on the pod. And I just, DMs, man. I just started sending some DMs out. And I've got 3 people lined up that I'm really excited to have on. And I'm going there to do 3 points. And I'm like, I can't believe I just did this
Exciting.
Within 2 days, just by sending DMs. I've never met these people in my life. And to think that that's possible. And sometimes it's scary. Or it's also just opening your mind to knowing that these possibilities exist. And then when you do it, you're like, well, what else can I do? Like you're doing the Melbourne walk.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can do this in every state. And it's not until you do it, until you realize and have that like mindset shift, I guess.
Yeah,
where you're like,
exactly.
we live online. I have this community that I can build online that could go to the Philippines and Tokyo and the UK. And I think that's just, it's so exciting. It's a new thing for me. And I'm like, because I know after that, it'll be like, well, where else can I take this?
Exactly. It's so exciting. I think I was very, very privileged in the sense where I was able to like study in different countries besides Japan. So I already had that idea, but I can always have online friends. And then like majority of my friends are like online friends in the UK as well, like even the uni mates. So I think that really opened up my like view of like how to reach out to people or like where to do things. Like it's never limited to like where you live.
Yeah. That was I fell for that for the longest time. Everything. I was like, we need to talk in person. Like, where can I meet you? I was like, we need to have coffee together. Otherwise, this can't work.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, hang on a second. We can just talk online.
Exactly. I have like some of the closest creator friends from like UK and like some in Germany and stuff. And we always joke about like one day I will host this photo walk in Europe and we're going to meet up each other.
That's the plan. That could definitely happen.
Yeah, if it can happen, it will be really fun.
Where's your you've traveled a lot. Where's your dream place to go that you haven't been to?
Haven't been to. I really want to go to Portugal.
No way.
Yeah, I've never been there.
My dad's from Portugal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm Portuguese.
It's a beautiful country. I really want to visit. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Lots of beaches.
Yeah.
Lots of everything. Like even
Yeah.
their countryside, everything.
Yeah.
Who am I following right now? I'm following someone who's a creative who is in the Faroe Islands. Have you heard of the Faroe Islands?
No.
This is why I love following people. I don't know where it is either, but it looks amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. This guy is posting stories
Yeah.
and I'm like blown away. I don't even know who this person is. I swear to you. Yeah, I'm constantly on Instagram just looking for creative people. I try to be very intentional with who I follow.
I'm the same.
Because you can easily like doom scroll. Like I feel like social media can be not negative, but you can like waste a lot of time just watching random things that aren't really helpful.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it can be beneficial and it can be inspiring. You can meet amazing friends. You can meet awesome, talented people.
Yeah.
And you can just follow them. It's so weird.
Yeah.
I'm following this guy and he is in the Faroe Islands and I'm like, I need to go there. I don't know where it is. It's in the middle of nowhere. I think, I swear, I don't know where it is. But every story, I can't wait for this guy to post a story and it's cloudy and there's mountains and cliffs.
So nice.
And yeah, I don't know where that thought came from. Oh, you spoke about Portugal. This dude popped in my head. I'm like, that's where I want to go.
Yeah.
Portugal's good. Apparently it's really hot.
Yeah.
I haven't been in a long time. I've got a big
I
family.
really want to visit. Oh, that's cool.
I've got a big family, but most of them are from South America. So I'm always going there. Portugal's a good one on the
I go
list.
to Portugal. I do also want to go to Vietnam as well because my partner's family is from Vietnam and I've
Really?
never been to Vietnam before.
That's on my list too.
Yeah, so I really want to go. And I feel like the street photos there would be really fun because it's so like crowded and then they have like so much like street food, like stalls and stuff, which is like in Japan we do, but like it's very seasonal. So it's like quite rare for me to see. So yeah.
Vietnam's on my list too.
Yeah.
Seems to have a lot of culture, a lot of food, and a lot of landscapes.
Yes.
I've seen, where's that place? Sapa? Is it
Yeah.
Sapa? That place
I
looks
think so, yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
Very picturesque.
Yeah, Vienna's so pretty.
Where's your favourite place you have been to? Where's the nicest place you've been to?
Nicest place.
Yeah.
Oh, Cotswolds in England.
Where's
Do
that?
you know?
No.
It's like a very small, like it's not. I don't know if it's small, but it's like a neighborhood.
Yeah.
And we went during summer. It's covered in like flowers. It's so pretty. There's random poppy fields everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah, and then they have very traditional those English kind of stone, what's that called? Like stone walls and like like houses and stuff. Oh, it looks like out of a movie. It was so pretty.
Wow.
Yeah, I really enjoy that. Yeah, that's like some of the earlier posts on my Instagram is like from that, and it looks so magical. I loved it. Yeah.
I love exploring, especially places like that where I felt very similar when I went to Japan because I'm so used to this.
Yeah.
You hear all the time and you're like, these places exist. When you go to places that just are so different to what you're used to and you just get blown away and you're like, wow. Yeah, I totally get that. What's your favorite photo that you've ever taken? Like, or work? Like,
oh my gosh.
where you took something and you were like, I love this.
Oh, that's hard.
That's
oh
hard?
My gosh.
You've been shooting a long time.
Yeah, but I'm like very harsh on my work.
Really?
So I'm always like have something critical to say about my work. But I think...
Did you ever have a time where you were just so proud of your work?
I was really happy with the pre-wedding shoots I did.
You posted those, right?
Yeah, it's
I
like
saw
the
them.
black and white one.
Yes,
yeah.
they were great.
Oh, that was the first ever pre-wedding shoots I've ever done in my life, and then it was so pretty. I really like those. So like I think it captured. I knew the couple personally as well, so I kind of made sure I captured their personality and their relationship, and I think I did that.
Yes.
Yes, I was really proud.
Yes.
Yeah.
You could tell they were a real couple.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can tell two people are like really in love. Yeah.
And then they had like little like funny quirks and everything, and I got
Cute.
to capture that. And
Yep.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's good. I think you need that. I think we need to be more like it. I think a lot of us are very critical.
Yeah.
We always look at it and we're like, oh, this could have been so much, but we get in our head so much.
Yes.
But then at the same time, we need to also be, what's the opposite of critical? Like we need to praise ourselves and be happy with like how far we've come, how much better we have become. Do you have those feelings?
Yeah, because like I get caught up in like quite negative thoughts easily.
Yes.
So I've been trying to practice. If I take a photo and if I have something bad to say about it, I'll try to say 3 things that I like about that photo.
Good.
And then get into the critical bits.
Good.
Yeah.
That's a good practice. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that. Because it is getting into that habit, because they become habits.
Yeah.
If you're always critical, that becomes like a negative habit where you're always looking for.
Exactly. And also like photography is such a subjective thing as well. One thing that's so bad, like it looks bad for you, is somebody's amazing. Yeah, I've realized that once I started posting a lot on social media, because I post photos and be like, like I didn't like that one. And then some people be like, oh my gosh, it is amazing. And I was like, wow, like that's a different perspective.
I agree.
Yeah, so that's something I constantly need to remind me of.
That's one of the biggest lessons I've learned with creative work. It's like someone else may like it and there's another person who may hate it, and that's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there's nothing wrong with that. It's very subjective, which means like there's no right or wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of the times you can't take criticism too harshly either. Yeah. Because sometimes it may just not be for them.
Yeah, exactly. And I think when you take somebody else's criticism so like into your heart, like you burn out. Like you will start getting to the thoughts of like, am I not good enough? Like, am I supposed to be shooting? Like, should I even be doing this? Kind of like all the thoughts.
I agree.
But I feel like you need to step back and see like how far you've come, how much you improved your photo from like compared to last year or something, and then
exactly. And you need to celebrate the wins. Yes. And that's something that I want to do with you. You did in 2024. You received a commended award in the people category.
I know.
For photographer of the year.
Yes.
How did you feel then?
I was so happy because I didn't think I would receive anything. It was funny because I've met a few other creators who applied and they also got the similar commendment thing, and then they were like, oh, this is not a win. It's nothing. I'm not finalist.
Oh, wow.
But for me, I was like, I've never done any. That was my first ever like applying to award kind of thing, and I got something. So I was like, I got something. I'm happy with that. Exactly. Like somebody thought that was good.
Yeah. Someone out there thought this was good. Yeah, true. And you need to celebrate that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
What made you want to enter a competition?
Oh, I think I was just like, trying to create more post more, and then that our ad came up. It's like doing this 2050 award, whatever. And I was like, why not? I have photos. It was literally like, why not? I did a lot of why not like last year. I was like, why not just do it? Like see how it goes.
Yes.
Yeah, like worst thing could happen is like I maybe like lose $10, but like whatever.
But that's a good attitude to have.
Yeah.
And you had that same thought process with the photo walks, right? It's like, why not?
Exactly.
Why not turn it into a big thing?
Like, I feel like you just need to do it at least once.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you don't know if you're going to enjoy it or not either. There's a lot of things like that.
Yeah, I think that's what exactly happened with my photography thing as well. Like I was in my quarter life crisis, and I was like, like I don't want to like keep just doing corporate jobs because I always felt like that wasn't me. And I was like, okay, why not just do it? If this photography thing fails, it's fine. At least you did it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And at least you know, rather than not doing it and always thinking about it.
Yeah, exactly. I do not want to have like, what if I've done it? Like that's like I think the worst thought I could have. So I'm always like, just do it and see how it goes.
True. And I feel the more you do that, the easier it gets. Like the when you have that what if I do it? No, if you have the like why not? Why not just do this?
Yeah.
And you do it and something happens. Like you've created this whole photo walk community.
Yeah.
The next time a why not opportunity comes up, it's now a whole lot easier because you've got this first example to go off. And then every time, then why not enter this photography competition? And you get a commended award. So it's like every time you face these, I guess, obstacles, because you had that attitude, it creates a good, what's the word, loop? Feedback loop?
Yeah.
That's a positive one.
Yeah.
And then it becomes more of your personality and who you are.
Yeah.
But if you never do those first ones, it's very hard to gain that momentum and belief.
Yeah, I think the first one is always the hardest for anyone. But I think once you do it, you will like learn something out of it. Even if you fail, that there will be like some learning curve like to it. So I feel like it's always worth it to just try. Yeah.
And you learn. When I first started photography, my self-imposed rule was that whenever I got the opportunity to shoot something completely new, I would never say no, ever. Like I have to do it once, otherwise I'm not going to know whether I like it or not. So when someone was like, you know, shoot a wedding or shoot, like I think I shot underwater once, like with an underwater camera.
That's cool.
Anything. If I had never shot it before or black and white, I would have to say, like that was my rule. I'm like, I have to say yes because I don't know if I'm going to like it or not if I've never done it. Like who am I to say?
Yeah, I think that's so good because when I started photography, everybody asking, what do you shoot? And then they always kind of expected me to have the genre that I would go into.
Yeah.
And I was like, I shoot everything.
Shoot what I like.
Yeah, shoot what I like. Because I feel like I'm still like a baby photographer. So I'm like, I don't know what I like. I like everything. Only thing I know that I don't like shooting is food.
Food.
Because food is very hard to make it look tasty. And also I don't think I'm very like food motivated person. So I'm not like interested in taking still photo of the food.
Yep.
So that's one thing I figured out recently.
Yes.
Like I was like, I think I'm not into taking photo of food.
Yeah. But that's a good thing. Right. And that's the thing that you learn by doing lots of things.
Yeah.
Like I knew that, like I shot a wedding, right? And I was like, I hate this. But now I know that I don't like doing this. And it makes it so much easier to make decisions because I'm like, I have tried that and it's just not my thing and that's okay. And the more things you try, the more it becomes, you gain clarity. Like, I really like this, this, and this. And I already know I don't enjoy that because I've tried it. And you can still learn from a lot of those things. Like, I've actually done 2 weddings now, but I keep saying I'm never going to do them again. But every time I do it, like, you still learn things from all of those experiences. So I think it is important to just do things. And it is why not? Yeah. Last one, like, if you were to, like, do everything again, would you do anything differently? Like, what are some things? Say someone's just starting out and it may not be like community walks or anything, but they want to build something special. But they're still working the corporate job and they're not sure.
I think just start showing up for yourself and just start trying. Because, like, I was like that, like, a year ago. I wasn't doing anything with my creative stuff and I just didn't do it.
What got you to just have the guts, I guess, to just go for it?
I decided, like, I just promised myself I will post 1 post a day. That was
the rule.
Yeah, that was the rule. Just that's me showing up for myself, like my creative self, and I as long as I do that, like, I'm happy. Just do it. Just do that, and then slowly, if that start rolling, because, like, once you start doing that every day, after a month that gets into your routine.
Yes.
And once that becomes your routine, you have to go shoot because you're posting every day. So you start shooting more and that just creates, like, the positive circle of it. So I feel like if you're trying to start out something or just trying to, like, do more photography, just start something small and then make that a daily routine or even like a weekly routine and then just, like, slowly grow it. And I feel like that just starts snowballing.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's really good. Like, start simple and realistic. Like, some people just have these extraordinary goals when they first start out and they're like, they're unrealistic for, like, what they're doing. It's like, dude, you could never do that. Like, just start small. Like, what can you do now? And they slowly start building habits like that. After a month, that just becomes normal and easy. And then you just build on that and it's like, what's the next thing?
Exactly. Like, when I know, like, social, because I'm on social media a lot, because, like, social media stuff, I know it's very discouraging when you're not getting likes or, like, shares and stuff, but it's not always about that. It's, like, your platform. It's your reminder that you like creating. Like, when I was first posting, I was only getting, like, 10 likes. I was like, whatever. 10 people liked it.
That was never discouraging?
I think years ago when I was trying to get into, like, social media for wrong reasons, I think that was very discouraging. But when I started up again last year, my intention was just showing up for myself. I just wanted to post 1 post a day to show my photos. That's it. That was my goal. So like, it was never about the numbers. So it never became discouraging. So I think you just need, like, a good mindset.
I agree. Yeah. I felt the same way with this podcast because everyone starts at 0, right? So I had to start this whole podcast YouTube channel and it's on nothing, right? This was nearly a year ago now. but you have to very quickly learn that like it's not a bit like if you use the numbers, like the views as your measurement for success, like you're going to feel terrible
Exactly.
because they're not going to come. So you have to find other ways of measuring your success. And I think it's very similar, like this podcasting thing to anything, to any photos. It's like, am I showing up better? Am I being more present? Am I becoming a better listener? Am I speaking better? Like these are all other ways of measuring the success of what I'm doing rather than just relying on the views and the likes and the engagement. And that can be disheartening on any social platform, right? Whereas like if you're using other things, like are my photos getting better? Am I understanding my settings better? Is my composition better? Did I learn lighting a little bit more today? When you're posting every day, you can't not learn something new
Exactly.
by the end of it.
Like a year ago, I didn't know how to shoot in cloudy weather. I was like, it's so yellow. But like if I go like colder, it looks so blue. Like what am I supposed to do?
And you have to figure that out,
Yeah,
right?
I had to figure it out. I learned masking. And I was like, oh, now I can mask. And now masking is like so easy for me after a year later. So it's just small things you learn every day. Like if you learn one thing every day for 1 year, that's like 365 things.
That's a lot of lessons.
That's a lot of things.
Yes.
That's how you just kind of, I think, motivate yourself, and then don't get crazy expectation for yourself, and then just be kind and do what you love.
Yeah, totally. I love that. I love how you see everything. I love your perspective, and the feeling that you bring to everything. Like this is the first time we've met, and just like you're right. Your page, the way that you talk about your page, your community, there's a lot of warmth and vibrance, and it's a real thing.
Thank you.
Which is good. I love what you're doing. It's so good, and I feel like it's true. When you do things like what you're doing, it gives other people the permission to do the same thing, and that's a lesson that I've been learning recently too. And I want to have people on that share these things. Like they're out there doing cool things, especially for other creatives. Like the whole point of what I'm doing is to help other creatives. And whenever I find people that are doing the same, like this person's trying to help other people and he's very open about it, I'm like, I need to like highlight this, but more people need to know about these people. You know, and it's been good to have you share all this.
Oh, thank you so much for letting me share them.
No, that's all right. And I can't wait to see how Sempo grows.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited.
Awesome. Thank you, Chi.
Thank you.